Once upon a time, there were two best friends. One of them had a computer and the other one sucked.
Do the intro.
What up, boy? It's your boy, Q's Fun Time, Q's Fun Place. Here we are, PBR.
All right. Well,
Welcome to PBR with Q.
I wish I had PBR. You know, weird thing, actually, just to get us kicked off today. I forgot to tell you guys about earlier. So I go over to our buddies who plays D&D.
Classic.
And it has been long enough now. Not that I don't go by it, but like they just called me Q without, it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Honestly. Yeah.
They just
like
knew
that.
you as Q.
Yeah, that's just kind of how they,
That's just the introduction that they received.
Because we don't really, Jay Dizzle will.
Yeah, fucking
that,
Cap just.
All the other D&D guys, anybody, if I ever see the younger people, they will. It's really just at school or at work that I would.
Yeah. I mean, Cap also just calls you Matt pretty often, too.
Yeah, he does. So, yeah, it was kind of nice.
Yeah.
Just to get us started on a little light note there.
Yeah.
So, like.
That's a light note for sure.
No, I can go off of that.
Yeah, okay.
So,
all right.
Obviously, like, you have a nickname. You're not Tokyo.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're David, or Chris, or Jason.
It's unknown what my real name actually is.
I think it's Travis.
The government's been trying to find it for years.
So, like, what is it when you figured out, like, somebody's name was, like, their middle name or their nickname, and then you heard somebody call them by, like, their first name that you were like, what the fuck? Has that ever happened to any of you? I could think of one in particular, because for one, he doesn't watch this, and I'm not going to say his last name. Robert.
Mm-hmm.
His first name is John.
Yep.
And I didn't know that until I was in, like second grade, and I had already known him for, like, a year and a half at that point. And when his mom got mad at him and called him John Robert, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Your name is John?
I actually knew that. But I think that's because I saw his school ID at some point.
And, like, when I was
early
younger,
in the friendship.
Like, if someone told me what their name was, like, I just took it at face value. Like, there was one of my old neighbors when I first moved to California. I knew him as was it like Bud or something, or Buddy, and his real name was like Jameson. And I didn't figure that out for like 4 years afterwards.
I worked with a decent amount of people from Africa,
Mm-hmm.
And they would often have American names,
Yeah.
like English names instead of, which I always thought was kind of unfortunate because I thought a lot of their names were really cool. And yeah, you butcher them for like a little bit, but I don't know. I guess I wouldn't, like, if somebody had an accent and they butchered my name, like, I wouldn't get mad at that, I don't know.
I used to get really mad at Miguel.
Miguel?
That really used to fucking bother me.
Oh, I'm sorry, man. I used to call you Miguel.
Oh, no, like when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like, because
when I did it. That's only when I did that.
Well, so it was in like first and second grade, so I didn't know you yet.
Yeah.
It used to bother me because I thought they were making fun of me, but it turns out they just don't know how to pronounce U-E-L.
Yeah. It's not a very common...
Yeah, it's really not. Like, there's Samuel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like... And like, that's it. That's all I can think of.
Yeah.
And it used to really bother me because I'm going to be like, hey, Miguel. And I'm like, it's Miguel.
Oh my god, if
I
Miguel was pronounced the same as Samuel...
Miguel. Miguel Scepter? Well, what about you, Martin? What is... One day I'm gonna like accidentally say your actual real name, and people be like, he's just memeing around.
I mean, it's a mystery. The government's been looking for years.
You technically do not exist.
This is true. Anyway, on to the mystery that's not me.
So I did actually bring a talking point. So you know how... Well, I actually don't know about you, but like... Or no, I don't think you... Anyway, there's this like screen on my phone specifically dedicated to like news stories or articles that's filtered through Google based on interests and whatnot, right? Just because I tend to look up a lot of like superhero powers just because I get bored.
Okay.
There's a lot of comic book stuff on here, and there's one specific one that I just saw. It was an article from Gizmodo. You can finally see what would have happened if a phone pole hadn't killed Jason Todd, and that's in reference to the story of Death in the Family, where Jason Todd is killed by the Joker. What I didn't know, or at least didn't remember, was that was decided on a phone pole, and Jason Todd dying barely beat out Jason Todd living by 72 votes.
Wow.
So, what else can you recall? It doesn't have to be like a big world event or something.
Yeah, sure.
Or even like that you either narrowly lost or narrowly won on, the magnitude of like a few votes.
It's not me, but my dad ran for school president, and out of courtesy, he voted for the other guy.
Oh no!
And the other guy voted for himself, and he lost by 1 vote.
That's like such a your dad thing to do.
So,
Get wrecked.
again, not me, but I thought that was kind of funny.
Never vote for the other guy.
So like the part that sticks out most, like, it's the only one that I can recall like on a dime.
Mm-hmm.
So in elementary school, we had this event called the Punt, Pass, and Kick. It was this like, I think it was kind of like a national event sort of thing, like for elementary schoolers, or at least like statewide. But basically, you punt a football, throw the football, and kick the football.
It sounds super familiar to me.
Yeah, right?
I don't know why.
So, and it's based on yards. Mm-hmm. So I did it in like 4th grade because I was like,
Would you kick it? You kicked like a kickball. It was like they like said we did it up on the top of the hill, where we played by the after school program. Was that where we did the kick part?
No, so it was on the big field, and it was a football. It was like a football.
Oh, it was only football.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I remember when I did it in 4th grade, and the reason it sticks out so much at me is because they normally only would announce like the first 2 or 3, but then they announced me in 4th place. And the reason it sticks out at me is because all top 3 were all people who like regularly did sports, and then short little fat kid. I lost by literally 1 yard.
Yeah.
Like, well, I was in 4th place by 1 yard. And it's not like you won anything, I don't think. But like, it always stuck out to me because I was like, wow, I could have actually probably done sports during my childhood if I wasn't so fat.
I'm trying to think of votes. Like, is this just like sporting things, like close by a couple of yards, or votes?
So, or even like, Dota example. There was a match between Beast Coast and some SCA team in like a minor, minor qualifiers. Beast Coast literally destroyed the enemy Ancient while their Ancient had like 100 health left. So like something like that, like something that's so close to the wire that it actually could have gone either way.
One of the bigger ones that I remember, I think this was 2014. It was the World Cup, and the U.S. was up against Portugal. And I don't remember if we needed a win, and it was tied. No, we either like needed a win or we needed to tie. And the score was either tied or we were up by 1. And it was in, they like add minutes on the end of the soccer game. And fucking Cristiano Ronaldo, the god that he is, like on the very last attack basically, kicked this sweet goal in, and I was like, well, the US isn't going on this year, that kind of sucks. That was cool.
Token, do you have anything?
Oh, I can only think of one thing, but I'm not sure it's a story for now.
Depressing. One time when I was in 1st or 2nd grade, we had to vote between George Bush and Al Gore.
Oh no!
And a bunch of us voted, and then one kid, I don't remember who it was, but they were really popular, and they voted for Bush, and then 5 of us went up there who had voted for Gore, and we like changed our vote to Bush. So Bush ended up winning like a ridiculous amount of votes in our class.
Dude, listen, that's
Like,
you gotta
It's
stop
what
calling
happened in
Florida class. All right. So, no, I'm not even gonna say that one counts. No, I don't know. I think every time I've ever done something, I've won by a mile, and that's that. That's how that ends.
I must not win a lot.
None of these close call stories.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just always first place all the time.
Oh, it's because you are competing against literal toddlers.
Pretty much, yeah. I actually roam the streets and I find
Challenge
them.
kids to running contests.
All sorts of contests, man. You know, they're flipping around a yo-yo. I'm like, hey, let me see that. And then I smash it against the wall and I'm like, that's how you win. And I walk away.
Man, so growing up, this was in like middle school-ish, so I didn't know Tokyo yet. There was this really weird, huge yo-yo craze that went around in our hometown because there was this like toy store that opened in this square that was like really popular and where there were a lot of like really popular restaurants and the Chase Bank for some reason. No, that was Washington Mutual at the time.
it was at the time.
And like, so everybody at school, like every dude had a fucking yo-yo. And I remember getting so into it, I started like trying to invent my own tricks. And it got to the point where my finger started growing around an indent for a period of time, I thought. But it turns out my thing was just so tight that I was just cutting off the bloodstream or like restricting it, and the rest of my finger was just like swelling up. And then like when I fucking broke my yo-yo and I didn't have $5 to go get a new one, it like returned to normal size. And so like what are those like weird childhood fads do you miss?
Boomerangs.
Boomerangs?
Yeah, boomerangs work.
Dude, I'm dope with the boomerang.
I'm so bad with the boomerang.
I'm fucking rad with a boomerang. I can hit anything, anywhere. I can make that shit return to me. I can throw that shit backhand. I'm dope with a boomerang.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me
You're
a
nice with
boomerang,
it?
I'll show you how it's fucking done.
You're fucking nice with it?
I got a boomerang from my cousins in Australia. It's like a real deal one. It was like expensive, and I was playing around with it, and then I broke a fence.
Wow, those
I also
also
broke the boomerang.
Thus started the fad of breaking that guy's fence.
with expensive other countries' things.
Oh, but yeah, that's one of my hidden
Weird
talents.
childhood fads. Heelys were cool. That was like a cool little phase.
Fun
The
fact,
shoes
I
were
got
really
my
heavy.
first Heelys in high school.
Did you really?
Yeah, and then I used them at home a lot, and then one time I like went outside just to kind of fuck around with them, and I just face planted and just put them away and never wore them again.
Yeah, I'll be real with you. The powers that be deemed my level of grace unworthy of a pair of Heelys, specifically because of the impending injuries
Yeah.
that would come of it. And at the time, I was pretty pissed. But now that I'm old and I'm looking back, I'm still kind of pissed. I'm gonna buy a pair.
It was kind of cool. Heelys and wheelie backpacks sort of showed up.
Fucking wheelie
Around the same
backpacks. I
time. You could
forgot
just,
about
like,
that.
You would just be wheels on wheels on wheels.
Yeah, and you were the coolest kid in fucking Miss Reynolds' 3rd grade class.
Yeah. Those are fun. I like wheelie backpacks. I miss pickleball. Pickleball was fun.
God, that sounds fucking familiar.
You run between two trees and you try not to get pegged.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yup.
pickleball.
No, I don't think I ever did that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
We also had a big badminton phase.
yeah, we did.
Like that was kind of big.
Yeah, like in elementary school, that like there was like I think I was in like 4th grade. There was just a straight up like badminton club like after school.
Yeah, it was like
Yeah.
middle school. Every
Yeah.
as far as I remember, every single class, like gen ed PE class, we
Yeah,
would
did
play
badminton.
and people would get super fucking into it.
Yeah, well, because you could hit it as hard as you fucking wanted, and it
Wouldn't
didn't
hurt
go
anything.
anywhere. So like, I fucking lost what I was gonna do. It probably doesn't
There's
matter.
another one, wiffle ball. Well, you played with a wiffle ball, and you played with like a ping pong paddle.
Oh
And
yeah,
it was like
yeah,
tennis. We played that in middle school.
yeah.
And like, we would get really into that one. That was super fun.
Yeah, remember when squash was huge?
Squash. Is that when
Yeah.
you have like the weird like U-shaped thing and you throw it against the wall?
No, so squash
It's like a
it's
ball.
like racquetball. It's
Yeah.
like basically, I think it might actually just be racquetball, but I'm not sure.
You
but-
throw it at like a wall and
Yeah,
You've
you
got
have
a
like
racket.
You have like a thing, but it's like a U.
No, it's just a normal. It's like a tennis looking ass racket.
yeah,
And there's a very hard ball.
it
I mean,
fucking hurts.
Weirdly
Yeah.
hard, like weirdly, if this hits you at high speeds, it's gonna fucking hurt kind of ball, right? And basically, it's tennis, except you're both on the same side of the court,
And it's much more
half of a
dangerous.
court, and where you would normally have another half of a court, there's a wall, and
Yeah.
also there's the two other walls,
We played that.
so you can fucking hit
Yeah.
that shit across all sorts of walls and shit, and
I was bad at it.
God, you bean somebody in the throat with your fucking. You just serve it up and it just bounces off two walls, and they're like trying to find out where it's gonna go, and it just right in the fucking neck, and they just are like they can't breathe, and you have to leave the squash court.
Did you get hit in the neck?
Me?
Or did you assassinate people with a squash ball?
Listen, it's squash. You're gonna get hit by the damn ball, okay?
What happens on the squash
Whether it
court?
happened to me, whether it happened to somebody else, it happened, and we had to leave.
So there was this game that we played in elementary school. We called it handball, but I also figured out like later in life,
Ball.
yeah, ball wall or wall ball,
Yeah.
and it always baffled me how many fucking rules people made.
There were like a weird amount of
Yeah,
rules for that.
I remember there was a kid that everyone was like, "Oh, he's so good because he can do rainbows so close to the ground." And what a rainbow is in this game is so you're hitting a ball against a wall. That's it. It can only bounce once before it hits the wall or you're out.
Yep.
There was this kid in elementary school called Sandcrawler, which now that I think about it, it's probably good that he was white because that would be super racist. But like, it's because he could just get under the ball like when it was really low. And I remember he and I started having competitions about that. And I remember when I finally beat him, he was just like, "Well, I guess you're Sandcrawler now, man." And at the time, I was like, "Yeah, I'm Sandcrawler now." But now that I'm older, I'm just like, "Yeah, I'm Sandcrawler now."
There was like a weird, like, you had to bounce it unless you called something specific, and then like you could like duck under the ball. If like
Rainbows.
so like if somebody, I don't even remember what it's called, I should say volley. Like if somebody
Yeah.
volleyed it against the wall, if you like went underneath it before it hit the wall, like they were out or something. Like, there was just so many like weird,
Yeah.
like, weirdly complicated games.
Our old friend, we call him the Irishman.
Oh,
Tall,
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
You know who it is.
Yeah.
But so he was always trying to invent rules, like different moves, and one of his was the hook shot, in which he'd literally spin around and then just fucking throw the ball as hard as he could at the wall. And we were all just like, "No, Dan, fuck."
Anyways, there's
I'm
another
not
game that we used
censoring
to play with the wall, but it was with the tennis ball. It was
Yeah.
a little different. Like you weren't allowed. You could like grab it, but you could like, but you weren't allowed to move once you had it.
Yep.
Kind of thing. I don't remember what that one was called though.
That one was the version of wall ball that I knew, and we
Yeah.
just called it wall ball. It was just with a tennis ball, but the same kind of fucking rules that you guys were talking about with like rainbow. I remember blind man
There
was
like,
one.
you could.
Oh yeah, black magic, white
Yeah,
magic.
black
White
magic.
magic was so
I
stupid.
remember that one too. So there was.
I don't remember those. That
So
we
when-
grew up in different parts
Yeah.
of the world, so I don't
when
know
the,
what that
when
was.
the ball bounced, you could
Do
go
a move instead of
underneath
hitting
it
it with your
instead
hand.
of grabbing it or hitting it. Oh, black magic. We didn't play with white magic.
Well, we tried not to, but people would get really mad.
But like if, like I don't really remember why. Like I guess you did. Like you had to go in order. So like, if he threw the ball, then you would have to get it, and then once you threw the ball, I would have to get it.
Yeah.
So like if I did black magic, now he has to get it wherever it is. But you had to get. I don't even remember what the rules were for it. But that was random.
One
Forgot
of
about
the
that.
things that I used to do is so like it was particularly people who would hit it really, really hard and really, really high, thinking that I wouldn't be able to do anything with it. So like I'd hit it really hard and it would go really high, and they would be like rainbow, and I would literally just be right behind them and be like rainbow, and they would be out like immediately. I was actually such a fucking turd in that game.
You're generally a fucking turd.
Yes, this is correct, but
You
like
grew up. It's not like a small turd that became a big turd.
I'm king
It's like
turd.
a small turd that just continued to age into a smellier, older turd.
growing orifices. And you know what? You're not gonna fucking believe this. He turns himself into a pickle. And then he says, "I'm Pickle Rick." Funniest shit I've ever seen. But so, going back to, hopefully, no one's gonna watch this but me. So, fuck it. Our friend Dan. So he called he called it the Hookshot, and he would just spin around and just throw it at the fucking wall as hard as he could, and everyone would be like, "Dan, you can't do that. That's a straight A. That's a laser, whatever the fuck you want to call it."
That's right.
Yeah,
That's what that was.
like, and that's an out because it has to bounce first.
It had to
if
be
you're gonna
above
hit
the
it.
white line.
Yeah.
If it was above the white line, then you could do a straight A.
Yeah, and it was like, there was. What other games did you play growing up? Not necessarily that anyone else here played that had those weird fucking rules that if you tried to teach somebody now, they'd be like, "Where the fuck did you grow up?"
Well, here's the problem, okay?
You grew up too many places.
Too many places, as well as not really enough kids around. So a lot of the games that I played were not taught to me.
Yeah.
They were instead made by me, and a fair amount of them included spray paint. And they were secret games. And one of the primary rules of these games was that nobody could find out that I had a bunch of spray paint cans that I stole from my grandfather's garage, and I used them to vandalize things. Not in like a cool graffiti way, but in like a, I don't know what I'm doing because I'm 8 with a spray paint can. And it definitely caused some suspicions at the dinner table when I'm A, definitely high off of paint fumes, and B, definitely smell like I'm high off of paint fumes.
So, like, I have a spray paint / graffiti story. So there was a period of time, it was after you had left for Vegas, and then Q had left for the Core, and I was just working at the old theater, and that I, like, kind of just started doing, not even good graffiti, but I mostly just started tagging. And so my tag was RM, which to me was really cool because I would because for one, I crafted this whole big story, but it really was just like real Miguel. That's all it meant. So I started just
Lombardo over here.
Yeah. So I started just fucking tagging it everywhere. Like I would do it on my walk home from work at night. So like every few days I'd take a longer route home, just tag a bunch of places, be like, ooh man, maybe this will be like the next El Barto or like or currently here in Arizona, Penis Man.
I think Penis Man got caught.
He did.
He did also
in
say
fact.
there are other Penis Man.
He did allude to the fact that he is one of many and they are legion.
Yeah, Penis Man is legion for we are many. So I remember the first time I got like caught is so like my hands were fucking covered in spray paint. And I'm walking home and all that, and I had all my spray paint in my backpack. But I'm leaving from work, and I'm still wearing my work shirt. So, so they're like, "We've had people tagging, and I see here your hands are covered." I'm like, "Oh, I work for the local theater. We just finished setting up." And they were like, "Oh, okay," and like completely ignored it. And I was like, "I'm really glad you didn't check my backpack and hear all the rattling."
Yeah, man. My signature was more like a sploot, just like a splash. Because when I tried to use the spray paint cans directly, then it would get on my hands and I would get caught with the spray paint. So I found out that I could make them explode from far away.
How do you have friends?
Well, I didn't at the time. That was part of the problem. There weren't a lot of positive influences in my life,
I would have
okay?
been your friend at the time. That sounds like a lot of fun.
It was. It was a secret game that I played in the woods.
We were instead playing fucking handball and like telling people they can't do white magics.
We used to play I don't think this one is as uncommon, but we did used to play the States game. you'd like slap somebody if you saw a license plate from another
Yeah.
state.
It was like punch buggy, but
Yeah.
But a lot more violent.
yeah.
Well, I mean, it was just fun. I don't know.
I remember once being a friend of mine. I'll call him KJ. We were going to an A's game, and so KJ and I. This is in like first or second grade. So he taught me about punch buggy, like because I kind of knew it was a thing, but I didn't understand the rules. I thought you just saw a car and you just hit somebody and said punch bug. So. So anyway, so we're going. He's telling me the rules of fucking punch buggy, or as he would like to call it, slug bug.
Dude, that made me so mad.
Yeah, slug bug.
Like that was really
It's
when I
punch
learned
buggy.
like what could cause such contention between two different political parties is when it's the same fucking thing, but it made me so angry when somebody said slug bug.
It still makes me like
It
weirdly
made
mad.
me so angry.
Yeah.
Does
I was
not
like,
bother me in the
I
slightest.
had to let them know they were wrong. I had to. I just this desire, this fucking burning rage down within me that saw the ignorance within this other person because they were wrong.
So it's funny that you actually bring that up because that's actually the crux of the story.
Oh, okay.
So, like, I called it punch buggy, he would call it slug bug. So he'd be like, slug bug yellow, and then hit me, and then be like, punch buggy yellow, and hit him harder. And we just kept doing that until we were just, like, fucking punching each other. And I remember his mom just turns around and is like, boys, we're going to the A's game, stop it! Fucking,
You're gonna disappoint the A's!
Hey, the A's were good at the time.
yeah, they were fucking...
And they're very disappointed in you!
Maybe that's what happened. Maybe slug bug, punch bug, you ruined the A's.
You know, and
It undid the spell! The gypsy woman was right!
it turns out punch buggy was anabolic steroids all along. Oh, do we have anywhere else to go with this, boys? Or are we done ranting and raving about our childhood?
Oh man, I think that's as far as it goes. This is 27 minutes of that garbage, man. That's a lot of trash to consume in one sitting.
Boy, consume it, I will.
Did you just call my childhood trash?
What?
No, I'm calling the show trash.
Oh.
And your
Besides,
childhood.
you're a lot more than your childhood. Nope. Fucking done.